He was warned that if he ever touched that power, the entire world would collapse. But in his final moment, surrounded, bleeding, seconds from death, he unlocked it anyway. And now, humanity has no idea what's coming. This is the story of the boy who awakened the forbidden energy the gods buried for a reason. A power no mortal should ever touch. A power that rewrites destiny itself. In a world where magic is controlled, measured, and restricted, one rule stood above all: never seek the black core. The ancient energy sealed away during the Great Purge. But our protagonist, Arin, the weakest student in the Arcane Academy, is about to break that rule permanently. Arin was a joke. At the prestigious Arcane Academy, where magical talent was everything, he was a nobody. His classmates would openly mock him during training. While they could conjure fireballs and erect crystalline shields, Arin struggled to make a simple orb of light flicker. The problem was his mana, or lack thereof. The official mana reading crystal, a device that measured every student's potential, gave him a score of 0.01. It was a number so insultingly low that his teachers initially assumed the crystal was broken. They tested it again and again, only to get the same result. He was labeled a failure, a stain on the academy's reputation. But there was something about him that felt off. An unsettling stillness that even the most powerful instructors couldn't quite place. What no one knew, not even Arin himself, was that his body was a living prison. It held not one, but two mana sources. One was his own, pitifully weak and barely detectable. The other was a sealed, dormant, forbidden core, a vortex of unimaginable power, waiting for its lock to be broken. That moment was coming far sooner than anyone could have predicted. It all went wrong during the Abyssal Ruins exam. This was supposed to be a routine field test, a practical application of their studies in a controlled, low-level dungeon. But the Abyssal Ruins had a reputation. It was a place even seasoned adventurers and academy teachers spoke of with a nervous tremor in their voice. The air inside was heavy, ancient, and filled with a palpable sense of dread. The exam started normally, with students clearing out low-level goblins and slime creatures. But then, the ground began to shake. From the deepest chamber of the ruins, a creature of nightmare emerged. A high-tier behemoth, a monstrosity that had no business being in a training dungeon. Its roar shattered the stone ceilings, and its presence alone was enough to make even the top students freeze in terror. Panic erupted. The teachers shouted for a full retreat, but it was chaos. Students scrambled over each other, desperate to escape the charging beast. In the confusion, Arin was shoved to the ground, his leg trampled and broken. He was left behind. He watched, helpless, as the behemoth turned its massive head towards him, its eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. He tried to crawl, to drag himself away, but it was no use. Powerless, bleeding, with his life fading, he closed his eyes, accepting his fate. But in that final, silent moment, a voice whispered directly into his mind. It wasn't from outside, but from within. It was ancient, powerful, and tempting. "Do you wish to live?" it asked. Arin's consciousness screamed yes. The voice replied, "Then break the seal." And for the first time in 1,000 years, the forbidden core inside him pulsed with dark, thunderous life. In that instant, Arin's instincts took over. He reached out, his trembling hand touching a jet-black, pulsating stone embedded in the ruins floor, the very heart of the dungeon. And the world shook. A shock wave of pure, untamed energy erupted from him, blasting outwards. The air itself seemed to bend and warp. Arin's eyes, once a simple brown, turned into bottomless pits of pitch black. Raw, violet lightning spiraled around his body, carving cracks into the ancient stone around him. Even the monstrous behemoth, a creature born of violence and fury, froze in its tracks. It tilted its head, not in confusion, but in something far older, far more primal. It sensed a power that predated fear itself. Arin slowly got to his feet, his broken leg now completely healed. He looked at the monster, and a single word escaped his lips, a whisper that carried the weight of an apocalypse. "Rise." And the forbidden energy, the black core, finally, catastrophically, erupted. Before I reveal what Arin transforms into, and why the gods tried so desperately to erase this power from existence, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Not only does it help the channel grow, it ensures you don't miss the next part of this insane Forbidden Power series. And trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. What happened next was not an awakening. It was a rewriting of reality itself. Arin's body began to deconstruct and reconstruct at a molecular level. His veins, once filled with blood, now glowed with liquid silver light visible through his skin. His aura, previously non-existent, exploded into a swirling, silent void that seemed to drink the light from the room. He had entered the abyssal ascension form, a state of being so terrifying. It was mentioned only once in the most forbidden of ancient scriptures, in a chapter about the end of the world. He looked at the behemoth, the creature that was about to end his life, and simply raised a hand. There was no grand incantation, no complex spell. He just gestured, and the monster was gone. Not killed, not defeated, erased. wiped from existence as if it had never been real in the first place. The few classmates who had stayed behind to watch, hidden in the shadows, saw it all, and their screams were a mixture of terror and disbelief. The weakest boy in the academy had just become the most terrifying thing in the world. News of the incident spread like wildfire. The Academy Council, after reviewing the magical residue left in the ruins, immediately branded Arin a walking catastrophe, a threat to be contained at all costs. The king of the realm, fearing a power that could erase his strongest knights with a thought, issued a royal decree for his immediate capture, dead or alive. The Holy Church, keepers of divine law, didn't hesitate. They declared him the child of ruin, a prophesied harbinger of the apocalypse. Armies were mobilized, inquisitors were dispatched. But amidst the fear and condemnation, another, far more sinister group saw an opportunity. The Shadow Order, a clandestine organization that worshipped forbidden powers, didn't see a monster. They saw the ultimate weapon, and they would stop at nothing to make him theirs. Arin was now the most wanted person in the world, hunted by kings, gods, and shadows alike. But as he fled, as he learned to control the cataclysmic power now surging through him, Arin started to uncover the truth. He found hidden texts and deciphered ancient messages left by the power itself. And he learned a terrifying fact. The Forbidden Core hadn't chosen him by accident. It wasn't a random awakening. It was a reunion. It was returning to its original master. Because Arin was never human to begin with. He was the reincarnation of the one being who had nearly destroyed the world 1,000 years ago, the entity whose power was so absolute that the gods themselves had to unite to seal him away. He was the Abyss Monarch. And now that he had awakened again in the body of a boy named Arin, his memories and his full power were beginning to return. And for humanity, for the kings and gods who thought they ruled the world, time was officially running out. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow for the next part.